Fear none if you want to be the one. Everyone wants to be the one, the champion, the leader, the legend. They want the glory, the respect, the moment their name echoes through history. But they forget something. Before anyone becomes the one, they must fight everything inside them that says they're not. This war doesn't start in the ring. It doesn't start in the gym. It begins in the silence, in your mind, when no one's watching, when there are no fans, no cheers, only that quiet voice asking, "Are you really strong enough?" There's a war going on inside you. You feel it every day. It's the war between who you are and who you could be. It's not a fight with fists or blades. It's worse. It's a fight with fear, doubt, hesitation, weakness. The kind of enemies that wear your face, that speak with your voice, that know your past and remind you of it every time you try to rise. Fear is always the first to show up. Before the fight, before the first round, fear walks into your mind and starts whispering, "You're not ready. You don't have what it takes. You'll fail just like last time. And if you listen, if you give it even an inch, it will take everything." Because fear doesn't care how hard you trained. Fear doesn't care how big your dreams are. It only cares about one thing, control. And once fear has control, you lose the fight before it even begins. But here's the truth. If you want to be the one, you have to face fear head on. You have to look it in the eye and say, "I'm not running. I'm not backing down. I was made for this." And not just say it, live it. When you're tired, you keep moving. When you're broken, you keep pushing. When you're scared, you keep fighting. Because fear can only control you if you let it. You have to understand something most people never do. Fear is not the enemy. It's the signal. It points to where the growth is. It shows you exactly where the battle must happen. If it scares you, it's probably the thing you were born to do. So no, you don't run from fear. You follow it. You chase it. You meet it where it lives. And you fight it in its own house. Every champion, every warrior, every legend, they all faced fear. But they made a choice. They chose to walk into the storm. They chose pain over comfort, sacrifice over safety, discipline over excuses. That's why they became the one. Not because they never felt fear, but because they refused to be owned by it. So ask yourself right now, what are you running from? What is the thing you keep avoiding? The challenge you keep postponing? The conversation, the decision, the path you know you should walk. But don't. That's where the battle is. And that's where you become the one. You think becoming the one is about luck? About talent? About being chosen? No, it's about being willing. Willing to suffer. Willing to lose. Willing to go further than anyone else would dare to go. That's what separates the legend from the average. That's what separates the one from everyone else. Not gifts, not genetics, but grit. You've been told to avoid fear, to stay comfortable, to play it safe. But safety is where dreams go to die. Comfort is where potential stays asleep. You weren't made for comfort. You were made for war, not against the world, but against every weak version of yourself that tries to hold you back. So here's the truth. You won't become the one by being fearless. You become the one by fearing none. By standing in front of your demons and saying, "Not today, not ever. I choose to fight. I choose to rise. I choose to become who I was meant to be." And this is just the beginning. The pain is coming. The losses are coming. The nights where you'll feel like it's all for nothing, they're coming. But so is the power. So is the growth. So is the version of you that will make the world go silent. The one who walks into the ring and makes everyone feel like they're watching something unreal, something different, something legendary, because you feared none and became the one. Everyone wants to be the one, but most won't survive the middle. The beginning is easy to hype. The dream is fresh. The fire is new. You're motivated, driven, obsessed. But time will test you, and that fire starts to fade when you're not winning, when the world stays silent, when the results don't show, even though the pain does. This is where most break. This is the middle. This is the fire. Pain shows up without apology. And failure? Failure doesn't knock, kicks the door in. No warning, no mercy. You fall, you get hit, you lose. And in that moment, you will question everything. Why am I doing this? Why does it hurt so much? Why isn't anything working? And the worst question of them all, am I even good enough? Listen to me. You are not weak because you feel that. You are human. And the road to becoming the one is covered in doubt, sweat, and shattered belief. What matters is not how you feel in that moment. What matters is what you do in that moment. You don't quit. You don't pause. You don't wait for the perfect time. You stand up, even when it's hell to do it. Because there's something more dangerous than failure. It's the habit of quitting. Once you give up once, it becomes easier the second time, and easier the third, until one day you're sitting in silence, knowing you had the shot and walked away. But that won't be you. Not if you want to be the one. You will fail. It's part of the process. You will be humiliated. You will be overlooked. You will lose fights, lose friends, lose faith. But you don't stay down. You fall. You bleed. Then you wipe your face and move again, because the ones who never lose aren't the strongest. They're the ones who refuse to stay broken. The middle phase is ugly. No spotlight, no celebration, just grind. Just hours alone doing the same thing day after day, while no one claps, no one notices, no one believes in you but you. This is the fire that forges legends, because when the lights are off, when no one is watching, that's when the one is born. Anyone can show up when it's easy, but the one shows up when it's brutal, when it's lonely, when it's cold, painful, and thankless. That's when it matters. That's when you earn it. You see, the greats aren't made in the ring. They're revealed there, but they're made in the lonely nights, the early mornings, the invisible sacrifices no one will ever understand. You want to be different? Then you have to train different, think different, endure different. While they sleep, you move. While they complain, you evolve. While they break, you rebuild. Pain is the price. Discipline is the currency. Sacrifice is the investment. And belief is the unshakable weapon that keeps you moving through hell. You don't need a crowd. You don't need applause. You need one thing, a reason. A reason that's bigger than your fear. Bigger than your tiredness, bigger than your excuses. Because when you have a reason, quitting isn't an option. Comfort becomes poison, and you'll embrace the burn, because you know what it's building. Let them laugh, let them doubt you, let them sleep on you, because one day, they'll ask how you did it, and you'll look back and remember, I didn't give up when I had every reason to. I didn't quit when it hurt. I didn't fold when I failed. I feared none, and became the one. You don't climb the mountain in a day. You don't master the craft in a month. You don't become a champion in a season. This takes years. This takes obsession. This takes becoming something most people will never understand. You will lose things along the way. Friends, relationships, comfort, sleep. But what you gain is something far greater. A version of you that no fear can break. A mind that cannot be bullied. A soul that has already walked through fire and came out sharper. So when it's hard, when you feel empty, when your body aches and your heart's tired, remind yourself, this is the fire, this is the test, and this is where they all quit, except the one. You've been through the war, you've faced the fire, and now you rise. Not because the pain is over, not because the battle has ended, but because something inside you has changed forever. You are not the same person who started this journey. You're sharper, stronger, colder where you need to be, and more alive than ever. You feared none, and now you walk as the one. They still won't understand you. They'll say you changed, and they're right. You did. You shed weakness. You left behind the version of yourself that waited for permission. that wanted approval, that feared rejection. You stopped asking, "Am I enough?" And you started declaring, "I am inevitable." You know what it cost. You know the nights you wanted to quit, the mornings you woke up broken and moved anyway, the fights you lost, the ones you bled through, the ones that nearly destroyed you, but didn't, because deep down you had one thing that couldn't be killed: purpose. And that purpose is what carried you through the storm. Being the one doesn't mean you're perfect. It means you're relentless. You still make mistakes. You still have doubts. You still feel pain. But you don't fold. That's the difference. Everyone hurts. But the one moves through pain with a smile that says, "Is that all you've got?" People will try to study your discipline. They'll try to copy your routine. They'll ask what supplements you take, what plan you follow, what your secret is. But the truth is, they're asking the wrong question. Because it was never about the program. It was never about the hacks. It was about what you decided to become when everything told you to quit. You see, becoming the one isn't a destination. It's not a trophy. It's not a headline. It's a standard, a way of life. Every day you wake up and chase discomfort. You seek war with your limits. You chase mastery, not for applause, but because you refuse to die average. You stopped looking for shortcuts. You stopped chasing motivation. You became your own fuel. Now you don't need hype. You don't need permission. You don't need anyone to believe in you, because you believe in yourself. You made the climb alone, and when no one showed up to clap, you still kept going. That's why you're here now. That's why they watch you with silence. That's why the ones who once doubted you now lower their gaze. They call it confidence, but it's deeper than that. It's the silence of a man who's walked through hell and came back with fire in his eyes. It's not arrogance. It's earned. It's the way you carry yourself now, unshaken, unmoved, untouchable, because you know what it took. You know what it cost. And you know damn well, no one can take it from you. The world will never give you this. You had to take it, through scars, through isolation, through every quiet day where the only one who believed was the one in the mirror. But that's what makes this real. You didn't fake it. You forged it. You didn't inherit greatness. You built it with your bare hands. You no longer chase. Now you attract. Because real power doesn't beg to be seen. It's felt. It enters the room before you speak. It's in your walk. It's in your stare. It's in your unshakable presence that says, "I've been through more than you can imagine, and I'm still here." You are the one. Not because you were chosen, but because you chose yourself. In the darkest hours, in the loneliest battles, in the fights no one knew you were fighting, you chose to rise. You chose to keep going. You chose to become more. This is what it means to fear none. You don't fear the enemy, because you've faced worse in your own mind. You don't fear the loss, because you've already died 1,000 times and rebuilt stronger. You don't fear the spotlight, because you earned it with blood, not noise. You don't fear failure, because now you understand. Failure was your teacher. Pain was your compass. Fear was the gateway. And now that you've walked through it, there's nothing left to run from. So when they ask, "What makes you different?" don't speak. Just show them. Let them feel it. Let your work speak for you. Let your presence shake them. Let your silence say everything. I feared none, and I became the one.